If you grew up in the 80s like I did, you probably have a preconceived notion about Skil Power Tools. Well, I'm here to tell you today's Skil Power Tools are a much different animal. I had a chance to use the SRT 1039. It's a new router table from Skil, under $150. In this video, I'm going to put the tool together and show you how I used it to cut some custom moldings for a furniture build that I was doing. So if you're in the market for a new router table, stick around. You might find this one useful. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name's Ben from the Benjamin Butler Company, and I've been working on a fireplace cabinet for a customer of mine. I've got to build a molding detail on the top of the cabinet. The top is actually made out of Formica, which is an interesting material to work with. But so instead of a solid wood top, I've got a Formica top. And on the end or edge of all of that, I'm going to cut a custom molding to match a molding that she has in some of her other furniture. It's not a detail that I do often, but it's a detail I do often enough. And so you kind of get decent at matching router bits to curves and that sort of thing. So fairly simple task. I've got the Skil 14 amp router here. It's a fairly simple task for a router like this. This is a very capable router and it's incredibly powerful. But to make the job a bit easier, I would like to take this to a router table. Now, I built a router table into my workbench recently, and it's really handy. But part of the problem with having a workbench router that's also an assembly and outfeed table is that it's often occupied. And so I can't often get at my in-workbench router. And so thankfully, my friends over at Skil, why, they have released a new router, new router table, and I'm going to put it together, use it to build this molding, and show you how it's done. So stick around. I'll show you how I did it. Alright folks, well, as I'm getting everything unboxed here, I thought I'd run down a couple quick features about this router table. It has above the table bit adjustment, so you can raise and lower the bit from on top of the table, which is incredible. It's my favorite feature of this thing by far. But it's got bit storage in both of the legs, and that also leaves room for the 2 feather boards that it comes with. And it accepts pretty much any fixed-based router, and it comes with a plate that you attach to your router, and you can easily install it and remove it from the table with this little spring-loaded clip. Really nice. So here we're just putting those legs on, and you can kind of see that door that opens creates a cavity, and in there it accepts some little shelving, plastic shelving things that have some custom spaces for bits and stuff like that. But it's a pretty good looking router table, and it's super stout. So I'm just removing that plate to mount it to my router, and then you can see this spring-loaded clip here. So that when you pull that back, it allows your router to just kind of flop down, and you can pull it right out of the table. It's a universal plate, so it should fit any fixed base router. You can't use a plunge base router in this table. You will not be able to access the height adjustment from the top of the table. They've got a plunge base router, so fixed base only. I really like that you can pull it out of there so easily and put it back in. And of course, like just about every router table that's out there, it comes with its own switch and 2 plugs in the back. Once you get the plate up there and the router installed, you can put these screws back in just to snug it all up. Comes with 3 of these inserts, or like throat plates, I guess. And a really great fence. The fence has T-track on the back. Both sides move somewhat independently. You can slide the outfeed side forward up to, I think, 1/4 inch. But yeah, so there's the feather boards. Comes with the miter gauge and this little pin if you're doing freehand routing. So altogether, a really nice package. Let's take a look at the stats here. It took me somewhere around 20 to 30 minutes to put this thing together. I was videoing, so realistically probably closer to 20. Didn't need a single tool. Comes with a multi-tool you can use, but if you got a couple screwdrivers lying around, you might want to use them. Check your depth adjustment. No plunge-based routers, and your dust collection port. All right, let's make some chips. This was a project cabinet commission for a customer that I made recently, and she had some molding detail on a piece of furniture that she's had for a while that she really liked, and she said, could you make it for me? I said, of course I can. And it was a fairly simple molding, and you'll see as we go along here how that is, but basically just a big honking round over bit, and series of different configurations, pretty straightforward. But when you're setting your featherboards, watch out for that little dust shroud. Had to make some adjustments here because I didn't think about flopping that thing down, so use your safeties. Unlock your router, or at least I did when I was raising and lowering the bit. You can usually raise it fairly easily, but when you lower it, it's going to get stuck like Chuck. So unlock your router to make your adjustments. Lock that baby back up when you're ready to cut. Turn it on and away you go. That power switch is keyed, by the way, which is a nice safety feature. So there you see, just really smooth cut. Dust collection's working really good. I actually figured out a way to get dust collection above and below. And the one thing I will say, the back of the port for dust collection has some grids in it that were they were stopping some of these big honking chips from that massive bit I was using. But I think if you're using a smaller bit, you should be all right. If not, I didn't say it, but maybe that grid in the back needs to disappear. So some buttery smooth cuts here. You can see the molding coming together. I played around quite a bit with resetting the bit height just to try to see if I could get back to it, how precise it was. And I had a setup block, and I was able to get back exactly to that setup block so easily every time. It was really nice. The results really speak for themselves. I had incredibly clean cuts with the router table, easy to adjust the bit height, and overall I was really impressed with this thing. Hey, if you're in the market for one of these router tables, check out Skil.com. You can find everything that Skil makes, which is a lot. Everything from lawn and garden tools to benchtop power tools and handheld power tools. Everything you want to know about this router table and more can also be found there, along with some really glossy images that give you a really clear picture of what you're looking at. You can find that 14 amp router that I used in this video on the website as well. And if you click the where to buy button, it'll tell you who has the tool in stock. And right now, the only one is Acme Tool. Love those guys. I got a lot of Skil Power Tools in my shop, and I've really enjoyed them, honestly. Skil and Skilsaw. One of my favorite features about their battery platform is that all of the batteries have a USB port to charge phones and whatever you need. So if you're in the market for some new power tools, check out Skil. That's going to do it for this one. I'll catch everybody on the next video, which should be coming out soon. If you do me a favor, smash that like button down below, subscribe to my channel, share this video with a friend who might be looking for a router table, and we'll see ya on the next video.